personal relationships, I'm very, especially controversial ones, I'm very iffy on, because I'm like, that's your personal life. You feel free to do it's, as long as you're not doing anything illegal, as long as you're not doing anything that's hurting anybody, you do you. And that's why I really have not discussed this Bill Belichick, Jordon Hudson relationship. Bill Belichick is 73. Jordon Hudson is 24. There's a 49-year age gap that has been certainly notable, to say the very least. And so I've mostly shied away from it because I'm like, I don't really even know how to discuss it on the show. Like, they're two consenting adults. They're free to do whatever they want to do. Until the CBS Sunday mornings interview with Bill Belichick, who's, I think, promoting his new book. And it's gone viral on social media, and understandably so. And when presented with the context that, according to TMZ and according to CBS, because TMZ got this from CBS, that, and I'll say this before we play the clip, where Jordon Hudson, Bill Belichick's girlfriend, interjects in the interview that they play for the on CBS, that this happened, according to CBS, multiple times, and according, again, to TMZ, that there was once an outburst. She had once had an outburst so bad that it delayed the interview 30 minutes. With that being said, we don't have the rights to show the footage. We do have the rights to show the audio. Bill Belichick, the uncomfortable moment when asked about his relationship with Jordon Hudson.
You have Jordon right over there. Everybody in the world seems to be following this relationship. They've got an opinion about your private life. It's got nothing to do with them, but they're invested in it. How do you deal with that?
Never been too worried about what everybody else thinks. Just try to do what I feel like is best for me and what's right.
How did you guys meet?
Not talking about this.
No?
No.
It's a topic neither one of them is comfortable commenting on.
Okay, so here's where I'm at with this entire situation. Because I think Bill Belichick, let me start with the other side of this before I get to Bill, because I think this says a lot more about Bill than it does her. The two of them are going to have to decide what type or how they want to present themselves as a couple. It is within their right to choose what they want to be in the public eye. More than within their right. They're, again, two consenting adults. They're a couple. They've been together for, I think, multiple. Some outlets are saying multiple years now. So whatever, that's up to them. But it is either they're going to be very public with their relationship, which, again, Jordon Hudson, you see her Instagram, Bill Belichick's all over it, very proud of it. Great, good for them. But it is, don't act like the journalist for CBS asked an unfair question. He did not ask, hey, Bill, or Coach Belichick, you're 73. What made you think it was a good idea to be in a relationship with someone who could be your granddaughter? That'd be a kind of an unfair question. I would not be a fan of that. He did not say, hey, Coach Bill, how come you didn't choose someone within the age range of 15? Nothing in relation to age gap. He simply asked the question, how did you two meet? I think a lot of people would like to know, how did they meet? They're very public about the relationship. They seem to be happy together. Great. How'd they meet? And that's when she interjects. And according to reports, North Carolina, Bill Belichick's the head coach there now. North Carolina is uncomfortable with this situation, with the fact that she has a lot more power than they would have liked to, I guess, allowed her have through head coach Bill Belichick of the North Carolina Tar Heels. They're a little iffy on it. And what to me says a lot more about Bill. And this is the part I wanted to hammer home, because, again, I want to make myself abundantly clear. They are free to have whatever relationship they want to have. That is their prerogative. The Bill side of this is interesting to me. According to, and again, this is an outlet that can be, depends on the day as it pertains to accuracy. But it has not been denied, the stuff that's come out of this. So the New York Post came out yesterday morning. I'm doing this segment on Wednesday. Came out yesterday morning and said that, if I can pull this up here, okay, insiders who know Bill Belichick, this is what the article says. The legendary football coach's friends were, quote, shaking their heads. Once insider told the Post, quote, they are talking to him about her, but very gently because they know how deep in he is. She saw an opening and she took it, end quote. The insider added of how Hudson, 24, has inserted herself into every aspect of her 73-year-old boyfriend's life and career. The consensus among people around Belichick, another source said, is that this relationship is, quote, alarming, and Hudson is, quote, a runaway train. And so that is the part that I wanted to sort of hammer home. Bill Belichick, to me, and I've done segments on, listen, folks know folks that watch show know, when it pertains to the Patriots dynasty, I have been immensely more pro Brady than pro Belichick. I give Belichick credit for some of those defensive performances, particularly early in the dynasty against the St. Louis Rams, greatest show on turf, some of those Peyton Manning loaded Colts offenses back in the day. He's been great defensively. He's maybe the greatest defensive coach ever. But I think the second half of that dynasty, particularly some of those rosters New England put together, was Brady 90-10. As it pertains to credit, you're going to lot those two players. Bill Belichick, to me, is a prime example of brilliant strategist, genius, whatever you want to call him, who was told over and over and over he was a brilliant strategist and genius and coach and all of it. And he felt like some people with no accountability in their lives that he was immune to it. Where is the same guy that let the greatest quarterback in the history of the sport walk out the back door. Listen, Kraft had a say, but Kraft, again, not enough accountability in New England in this regard. Kraft let Bill make that decision. And Bill pushed Tom Brady out the back door because, hey, Brady, getting up there in age, I can win with anybody. I'm Bill freaking Belichick. Cam Newton didn't work. Mac Jones didn't work. And it was kind of a disaster after that. This is the same Bill Belichick who in the last 10 drafts or so in New England drafted one offensive Pro Bowler, and it was a fluky one, Mac Jones, because there were some quarterbacks that pulled out of the Pro Bowl. Mac Jones was the Pro Bowler. This is the same Bill Belichick who I feel like it was one of his last two drafts. Drafted two guards and a kicker in that draft. This is the same Bill Belichick. Again, told you're a genius over and over and over, and you start to believe it, and it affects your decision-making. Second to last year, New England, coming off of a playoff appearance in 2021. 2022, Josh McDaniels goes on to be the head coach of the Vegas Raiders. Who does Bill Belichick insert to replace him? The defensive coordinator, Matt Patricia, or the former defensive coordinator, Matt Patricia, to run the offense. I can make anybody work. Bill Belichick. Doesn't matter if the coach is, doesn't matter if the quarterback is, doesn't matter what the roster is. I can make it work. And of course, it blew up in his face. The Patriots in the last 4 years of the Belichick era, went to the playoffs one time, had a losing record in the rest of those seasons. And for the record, in that playoff game, they got trounced by Buffalo. And so I think that has now come into his personal life where there's a level of a lack of self-confidence. I'll use an example. To use another celebrity couple in the world that is very much involved in the world of sports, who I've done multiple segments on this show. Some of my most viewed content on this channel comes from segments on this particular couple. Is Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. These are two, obviously Taylor Swift is maybe the most famous woman in the world potentially, and Travis Kelce, he could walk away from the game tomorrow and he's the first ballot Hall of Famer within football circles, obviously very famous. And when these two got together, it was under the radar. It was quiet. It's Taylor Swift, so there's going to be rumblings that, hey, there's this tight end for the Chiefs, and he's, maybe there's something here. Taylor's relationships are always very high profile, but they didn't say anything. They kept it private. She goes to the game, the first Chiefs game. It's like, oh, they're probably together. And then they go public, I think, on IG. And after that, hey, we're a very public couple. You see us out in New York a lot, and Taylor does interviews about Travis and vice versa. They can't speak highly enough of each other. They love discussing. Taylor talked about how they met, and Travis gushes over it. These are two obviously immensely talented, but confident individuals, comfortable in their own skin. Hey, I'm crazy about the other person. I'd love to tell you about how we met. Now, again, some of that is, Travis and Taylor might be like the same age, if not like close. I'm not against age gap relationships. Yep. Sorry. We had some. Hold on. We had some mic issues with that. I apologize. I am not against age gap relationships. What I am against is lack of self-awareness. And for again, Jordon Hudson, by all accounts, seemed to be highly intelligent. Belichick, I mean, his mom spoke multiple languages. Belichick comes from a highly intellectual family. I don't doubt that those two bonded over that. But the idea, like, we have an idea what was in it for Bill. We have an idea what was in it for Jordon. And that seems to be kind of revealing itself, particularly in this interview by CBS, and the fact that these two are acting as if we are unfair for asking such questions is disingenuous. It's playing the rest of us as fools. And there's a reason that they're getting pushback for it, and rightfully so. They are two consenting adults. They are free to have whatever relationship they want to have. Don't act as if we are unfair. Again, the question was, and I quote, "How did you two meet?" And according to CBS, that was the part, the awkward part of the interview, quote unquote, that they did show. According to CBS, there were multiple instances where she would interject. And in fact, there was one outburst so bad, they had to delay the interview 30 minutes. It was so bad, CBS, and I quote, had to salvage of the interview what they could to air on national television. It was that bad. And so it feels like any PR staff Bill has, she has replaced them. And that's within her right to do. It's within Belichick's right to make that call. But it does follow a pattern for Bill when you look at his football decisions in recent years. And it does follow the pattern of what we kind of suspected that this relationship was. It can be whatever they want it to be. Don't play us for fools, and don't be disingenuous with listen, you can't make IG post where, I mean, they're doing yoga on the beach and have the time of their lives, and they're in Cape Cod vacationing, and then, how dare you ask us about a relationship? You publicize it almost every day. I think it's not a crazy question to ask. So that's sort of my take on this. Is I've heard some folks say, like, oh, she's his PR manager. He can hire one. He can hire a PR manager. College football coaches do that all the time. He can hire a PR manager. This is different. And it does follow a pattern of behavior where if you don't have any accountability in your life, you do start to make weird decisions in your personal and professional life where it's like, dang, this guy's maybe still one of the greatest ever. And it's like some weird decisions as of late in his life. That's where I'm at on this. So listen, the age gap thing, listen, I would be lying to you if I said I was completely and totally comfortable with it. But I get it. Some people are, I totally get that. I absolutely defend the right to have whatever relationship they want to have. Two consenting adults. Just don't act as if it is it is crazy for us to ask such questions. That's disingenuous on your part. And for two supposedly confident individuals, it doesn't follow said patterns. That's where I'm at on this, and so that's my take on the Bill Belichick-Jordon Hudson relationship. Thanks so much for watching the show on YouTube, and be sure to go click that big red subscribe button and check out the other clips and full shows from Carving It Up Live, as well as our other incredible content creators here on the Grid Network.